Every year, it seems the art community on TikTok gathers around to hold an annual consensus of art styles they unanimously hate or consider as problematic, and some art styles have slowly climbed the leaderboard of the most hated art styles on TikTok. So today we're going to take a look at a few of them and try to find out why these art styles have become hated, and then find out which art styles TikTok apparently loves. Starting with TikTok's most hated art style, the Luuki art style. Luuki, who recently became the art community's new punching bag, is an artist that became controversial for making animation memes and apparently saying the N-word and using the no German symbol in their drawings. Luuki then made an apology video in their animated meme art style, and their entire comment section was filled with people calling them out for not taking the situation seriously or even genuinely meaning their apology. Luuki has since then still been posting their art and memes on their TikTok account, but people still occasionally call them out for being problematic, and apparently now they even hate their art style. People started calling it the worst art style ever, the Pinterest humor art style, and for some reason someone said it's an ungoonable art style, and the fact that this comment has almost 4,000 likes is genuinely disturbing. Luuki's art style is pretty simple and feels like Saturday morning cartoons, and her meme art style is mostly just them drawing over images of themselves and covering the eyes with simple line art in white, then moving the images around like those invincible edits. Most people in the comments claimed this art style was okay, and if Luuki wasn't considered problematic, people won't have a problem with their art style. The next hated art style is the Doom Rule art style. Out of all the art style TikTok hates, this art style has to be the most unique looking out of all of them. The Doom Rule art style unironically coined from popular artist Doom Rule on TikTok, who has been drawing and making fan art of their favorite anime characters, but then getting called out and harassed by people on TikTok because their drawings look a little bit different. It's just horrible. Not all art styles are good because they are unique. I genuinely don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable, and that's my opinion. But does that mean I have to harass the artist for making artistic pieces and expressing their creativity? No. Apparently people had a problem with the way the artist was drawing their characters and making their heads in the shape of a cube, and because of the way they drew the eyes and other features on the face on their characters and making the distance between each of these features pretty enormous, which I can understand. Every single art style is not for everyone, and people are allowed to have favorites, but when you start harassing an artist in their own comments, calling their art the ugliest art you have ever seen and telling them their art is ass and unique doesn't equal good art, that just crosses the line of a normal sane conversation about art and immediately creeps into the territory of cyberbullying and harassment. This artist literally has thousands of comments complaining about their art every single time they post a drawing on TikTok, with people trying to use logic telling them their characters will literally fall down if their heads were this big, and telling them that they should learn anatomy and change the way they draw just because it doesn't look realistic and that their proportions are ridiculous. People even started wishing for the artist to get cancelled just so they can stop drawing and posting their videos on TikTok, which to me is just insanely ridiculous. How bad can you hate an artist and the way they draw that you genuinely just can't help yourself but start wishing the worst for them? That just doesn't make any sense. Other people were saying the artist didn't really mean to draw like this, and they were only drawing like this and were forcing it because they wanted to have a unique art style. Many artists across TikTok have posted videos supporting Doom Rule and asking people to stop harassing them just because they don't like their art style, and telling them bullying artists because of how they draw doesn't make them look cool on the internet. I think there's nothing wrong with Doom Rule's art style, and people are hating just because they haven't seen art that genuinely looks different from what they're used to seeing and becomes clearly appreciated by the art community, even though the art style just looks weird or funny. People keep asking for artists to be unique and post drawings that are not generic or whatever, but when an artist comes along with drawings that indeed do look unique, they're met with harassment and bullied for being different. Let's just try to be nice. All we do is draw on pieces of paper or glass-covered devices. There's no reason for us to hate each other so much. The next art style that has become hated on TikTok is the Tanya of Artstyle. Wait, why do people hate this art style again? Oh, okay, that makes sense. Your art style is great, and I can't lie, you had us in the first half. You can carry on with your day now. Speaking about your day, if you enjoy watching videos like this talking about art controversies, weird or disturbing situations in the art community on the internet, you should subscribe. I post weekly and talk about art, things happening in the art community, and other things of that nature. If that's something you find interesting, just hit that little subscribe button and join the family. The next most hated art style on TikTok is the Facebook art style, or as it's officially called, corporate Memphis. This became popular because it was used by tech companies like Facebook, Meta, Google, and mostly startups. The art style looks simple with flat colors and long exaggerated limbs, small heads, and rather simple geometric shapes that portray the characters mostly smiling while doing everyday activities. This art style became pretty popular all over the internet and was featured in adverts, campaigns, and almost every single company website one way or another. Apparently, designers and illustrators who praise this art style do so because it communicates ideas quickly and works well across different websites and mobile apps, and is also easy to read and easily accessible. But to me, the art style just looks boring. Drawing commissions as an artist on social media has gradually become an increasingly difficult sport with the growing popularity of AI models, commissioner scams, and manipulative clients, which has caused young artists trying to earn a buck with their drawings to end up playing a game of Russian roulette when trying to take commissions. Which is why starting a simple and easy side gig that can earn you money without taking up so much of your time has become the go-to for so many people on the internet. And that is precisely where the sponsor of today's video comes in. Free cash is a fun and easy way to earn in your spare time by playing casual games, completing surveys, and other simple tasks while using your phone. You can play games like Zombie Waves, Block Blitz, and my personal favorite, Animals and Coins, where you walk around as a bear jumping over gaps, collecting coins, and building your shelter. Seriously, they should have named this game Coin Collector or Coin Bear or something. The games offer in-app purchases that let you play longer and level up your accounts if you don't want to wait for the cooldown time before you can continue playing. And you also get rewarded on free cash for in-app purchases. Each game or task you complete earns you a bonus in your account, which you can then cash out on PayPal, Apple Pay, or any other payment method of your choosing. I've been casually playing some of these games for a few days now, and I can honestly see why free cash has a 4.7 rating on Trustpilot. Free cash is giving every new user a $10 sign-up bonus using my link. So scan the QR code on screen or use the link in my description to start your free account today and start playing casual games in your spare time to earn some free cash.
Here's an actually unpopular opinion. The big tech corporate art style, also known as corporate Memphis, everybody hates it, except for me. Would I hang it up in my house? Absolutely not, never, okay? But am I okay with Google and Facebook using it? Yes. It's easy to look at. It's very easy to recolor it so that it kind of like matches a color scheme. It's very versatile. Is it boring and does it lack personality? Sure it does, but so do corporations. I will say that a major downside of it is that since it's so like ubiquitous, it really does not distinguish any brands from each other. Honestly, I think that one big reason why so many people hate it is because it's associated with corporations that a lot of people don't like. And so I think that almost any art style that would be adopted by corporations like Google and Facebook would be hated by the masses eventually. Also, I don't really get why so many people are complaining that like the characters are disproportionate, because They're cartoons. When are cartoons ever proportionate?
Obviously, I have no issue with artists who draw in this art style or even have to use it for work, and I understand it has its place in marketing and really does a good job in serving its purpose, and I respect that. Yet, a lot of artists still find this art style genuinely unappealing and keep making fun of it in the comments, saying things like, "Let's get you started our art style. Your safety matters our art style. Tell a trusted adult our art style." And a lot of other comments just making fun of the art style for no reason at all, aside from them just not liking it. But like a lot of other people are saying, as much as young artists all seem to hate this art style, we're still glad it's just not AI art at this point, because literally anything is better than AI art. The next art style people seem to hate is the Red Chan art style. For some reason, people had a problem with this art style, but I couldn't really figure out exactly why. I looked at some of their drawings, which looked pretty normal and just seemed to be like regular stylized drawings, and I also checked the comments under their videos and couldn't find anything in particular regarding why people hated their art. But also they had limited access onto their comments, so I genuinely can't figure out what happened. If anyone knows what happened with this artist and why people just hate their art style, please tell me in the comments. Someone was asked why they don't like their art style, and people just said same without clearly stating why they hated the art style. Someone said because she hasn't improved in years, and I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like just because a person hasn't improved in their art for some time doesn't make it a genuine reason just to hate their art style. Probably the artist just got comfortable and didn't feel like practicing or learning anything new. And we also have to remember improvement takes time, and sometimes this time could be weeks, months, and even years. So let's allow them to do what they want and take their time, I guess, as long as they're not problematic. The next art style I kept seeing getting so much hate on TikTok is the Boyfish art style. It's just funny to me how all of these art styles are just named after the artist, and for some reason when people don't like the art style, they just automatically start hating the artist as well. Talk about separating the art from the artist. Too bad that never happens IRL, right? Boyfish is an artist that has been quite controversial on TikTok, with people saying they were getting seizures from looking at videos of their art on TikTok, and apparently because of the way Boyfish drew their characters, which most people considered as fetish art. There are so many videos on TikTok talking about the Boyfish drama, with the comments all filled with people writing long paragraphs about why they just hate Boyfish and their art, and expressing with full chests every single problem they have with this art style.
Oh my goodness, this person's art style, it's objectifying. They're sexualizing a fat body. Did you see how they drew the stomach and how they're exaggerating certain curves and features? They're sexualizing fat people. He's a cis male and he has boobs. He has real boobs. He's never had hormones and he has real boobs.
That's how y'all sound. That's how y'all sound right now. Because did we forget that cis men can have boobs? Like, do we forget what happens when you gain weight? Like, do we forget that fat can migrate to any part of your body, including your chest? And that's what boobs are? They're fat?
But they said that their character didn't have any hormone replacement therapy.
Look up gynecomastia and get back to me. You guys are like trying to be overly woke right now, and you sound very uneducated, so it's not working. And also, by the way, drawing fat people, like the way you see them and the way you perceive them, isn't sexualizing them. Y'all would not be saying these things about their character if they were skinny.
I'm not hating on Boyfish art style at all. It's pretty cool, but the reason I don't really like their videos is due to the fact that they don't put trigger warnings. Their art and animations are overall seen for their extremely bright colors, which can trigger many people with epilepsy and other illnesses. You could argue this with they have trigger warnings in the caption, which doesn't excuse it since usually in their videos, the person mostly has 5 or less seconds to look at the caption, and also most people don't look at the caption of a video immediately and shouldn't have to for their safety. Now personally, I don't think I have any issue with Boyfish or their art style. I do find some of their animations genuinely amusing, but as someone who has sensitive eyes, especially to white light and bright colors, I can understand and see why people will want them to have trigger warnings on their account or any of their art. Since a lot of their art has super saturated colors and a lot of flashing and animations with a lot of movements, which could possibly trigger some people who are also sensitive to bright colors, bright light, and just random motion. I also understand why it will seem weird and unnecessary for an artist to just keep putting warning labels on their art, but for something like this that can trigger people with conditions, I think having a little trigger warning or a label on their profile or something wouldn't be such a bad thing for the most part. Now let's talk about some art styles and artists that people seem to like on TikTok and are considered underrated and underappreciated, starting with the artist Luuki. Oh my god. My mouth dropped when I went to their profile. How is everything genuinely so good? Their drawing, lighting, and use of color is so good, and you can tell this artist has a lot of experience and understands the fundamentals extremely well. Their understanding of forms and rendering is really inspiring, and I'll encourage other artists struggling with forms, compositions, or just lighting in general to take a look at their work and study them for some time. When this person mentioned their rendering in the comments, I didn't expect it to be this good. Thanks for showing us an amazing artist. The next art style and artist TikTok seems to love is corn art. Account, I can immediately see why people love their art. Their drawings are really rendered well. They have very strong lighting and contrast in their work, and their colors and forms are very intense and vibrant. They also have really good understanding of composition, and you can see that a lot in their Sonic racing art, which I really love and enjoy, and I think are some of my favorite drawings from them. You can tell they really understand color and light, and their rendering just brings everything together nicely. Definitely an artist to follow and learn from. The next incredible artist and art style on the list is Oli Wang. Oli Peak Wang. Oli's art style is genuinely so cool and dynamic. They draw really cool angles, and I think out of all the artists we've seen today who draw and paint good, it's cool to finally see an artist that just enjoys drawing and line art, especially when their line art is really clean. Oli also draws pretty good fan art as well, and is another artist you can look at whenever you need inspiration for just drawing or sketching your OCs or whatever. The next artist on the list is Crosshatch. Cross has very dynamic drawings. Their poses are very fluid and you can feel the gestures in their work. Their compositions are really cool and interesting as well. Cross also has very cool comics and I feel like their art reminds me of LeSean Thomas and a little bit of Joe Mad in their poses, just because of how dynamic the poses are and just how cool everything looks. Most times a lot of artists focus so much on their anatomy looking perfect and fundamentally correct and often just forget about being cool and having cool poses. Sometimes if a pose looks cool and feels dynamic, I wouldn't mind that it's not correct and the anatomy doesn't look perfect. I'd rather have a cool looking drawing that has a lot of energy and has a dynamic pose than a stiff looking drawing that's anatomically correct. So keep doing great work, Cross. We love your art. Anyway, those are all the art styles I could look at today. I'll love to hear your thoughts about some of these art styles. Do you know any artists that have unique art or are underrated? Do you think the hated art styles deserved all the hate they were getting on TikTok? Or do you think they look cool and people are just reaching for the most part? I'd love to read all your thoughts in the comments. Anyways, hope you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to claim your $10 bonus by signing up on Free Cash and start earning in your spare time for playing games on your phone, which a lot of us are already doing anyway. Well, it looks like we've made it to the end of this video. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like, share it with a friend who hasn't seen any of these art styles before, and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. With all that being said, I'll see all you pretty penguins in the next video. Bye.